all that we have invented, the symbols in a church, the rituals, they're all put there by thought. Thought has invented these things. Invented the Savior, invented the temples in India and the contents of the temples. Thought has invented all these things called sacred. You can't deny that. So thought in itself is not sacred. And when thought invents God, God is not sacred. So, what is sacred? That can only be understood or happen when there is complete freedom from fear, from sorrow, and when there is this sense of love and compassion with its own intelligence. Then, when the mind is utterly still, that which is sacred can take place.
It was a late summer afternoon. Near the shore, a group of children were playing. One of the boys, though ragged and undernourished, stood apart from the others. He was described as having a special radiance. A pure and shining atmosphere surrounded him. Because of these qualities, the child was singled out and chosen to be the vehicle for the coming world teacher. This discovery was not an isolated revelation, for it was believed that humanity was entering a new age, an age that would bring with it a new Messiah. During the early decades of the 19th century, science was beginning to replace religion as the savior of humanity. As the monolithic church splintered, new organizations emerged, offering a balance between science and religion. One of the many new groups, the Theosophical Society, spread rapidly throughout the world. Founded by Russian-born Helena Petrovna Blavatsky and the American Henry Steele Olcott, its objectives were to seek truth in the ancient religions of the East, to investigate the unexplained laws of nature, and to promote universal brotherhood. So attractive were these ideals that by 1881, the Society had become a worldwide institution with over 100,000 enthusiastic members. Helena Blavatsky was a deep student of metaphysical lore and was sought after by those who believed her to possess psychic powers. Derided by some as a charlatan, she was, however, a serious writer, and in 1888 published her greatest work, 2 tremendous volumes entitled The Secret Doctrine. Annie Besant, a young journalist, was asked to analyze the work for London's Review of Reviews. Turning the pages, she was dazzled by what she read. To her, disjointed facts were now seen as parts of a mighty whole, and the puzzles, riddles, and problems of her life seemed to disappear. Within weeks, Annie Besant made a lifelong commitment to theosophy. This sudden step was not out of character for the impetuous Mrs. Besant. She was already well known to Victorian England as an orator, educator, energetic feminist, and a pioneer on behalf of the emerging labor movement. She organized a strike of match girls at Bryant and May's factory. Her sense of social justice led her to become a Fabian socialist along with Sidney Webb, George Bernard Shaw, and Ramsay MacDonald. After Blavatsky's death, Annie Besant became head of the society and the most influential force for the theosophical ideal. It was she who forged Blavatsky's unwieldy philosophy into a popular movement. Many of the world's religions speak of a hero or savior who appears in a time of crisis to help mankind. In The Secret Doctrine, Blavatsky described how such a teacher would define truth in terms suitable for a new civilization. Over the years, this theme had been developing in Besant's mind. By 1900, she was convinced that the time had come for the reappearance of a great spiritual leader. Even now, she was lecturing in India, Europe, and the United States on the coming of a world teacher. Expectations were spreading throughout the society, and thousands thronged to hear her lectures. Charles Webster Leadbeater was another leading member of the society. He and Besant worked closely together and seemed to complement each other, as Alcott and Blavatsky had done years earlier. The year was 1909. C.W. Leadbeater had moved to India and was now living at Adyar, the theosophical headquarters near Madras. Each day he would stroll with a group of friends along the beach on the Bay of Bengal. It was there that the young Jiddu Krishnamurti was discovered. In spite of the child's thin, uncared-for appearance, Leadbeater saw a quality so remarkable that he announced that this Brahmin boy would fulfill the long-awaited prophecy. Krishnamurti was to be prepared as a vehicle for the world teacher. The child's mother, Sanjivama, had died some years earlier, and the 14-year-old boy had come to live with his father and 3 brothers just outside the society's compound. The dreamy boy suffered from malaria, and illness often kept him from school. He was unassuming and yielded easily to the suggestions of others. He seemed to live in another world, often oblivious to what was going on around him. There was a curious emptiness. Krishnamurti and his younger brother Nityananda were especially close, and when told of the opportunity of being prepared for great things, he refused unless Nietzsche could be with him. On November 27, 1909, Annie Besant returned to India and met the brothers for the first time. An affectionate bond was formed as she became to the shy Krishnamurti a mother, teacher, and friend. To Annie Besant, the responsibility for guiding the boy's future became a sacred trust.